Hello, welcome to my Sunday Frump. Thank you for coming here and being with me today. I have just a little bit of an update. I really have to kind of pull from the elephant in the room, and it looks like Amanda Wallace from the Amityville crimes, where they found in Bethpage Park uh, dismembered human remains. Um, she had court today. So, like I stated before, Jeffrey Mackey, his is on the 11th. Um, Alexis Nieves is April 9th. Brown is actually the 1st. Stephen Brown is the 1st of April. And Amanda Wallace, her, because she stole last Friday from CVS and got caught and was arrested again. She was charged with violating her probation, and she was charged with um, petty larceny for the lashes and the nail polish. Um, so she said that she didn't feel like going and getting money and paying. I'm like, why did you leave the house without money? It's just exposing yourself. It's like self snitching already. And so March 22nd, right? March 22nd, today, Friday, she was supposedly going to court. And I haven't heard anything. I don't know if anybody even went. It looks like there's footage of her entering the court, the courtroom. But there's not footage in the court that I've seen. So I don't exactly know what's going on. All I know is that her parole was remanded. Um, so, like, she's got two cases going simultaneously. She has petty larceny, and she has the original where the four had been charged with, and they didn't get a bail for. And that's the one that caused politicians to react and want bail reform, right? So that one was hindering just the judicial process, tampering with evidence, and concealment of a corpse, um, you know, things like that. Um, I think um, something about human remains, like moving them or something. But like I said, her bail is very low. It's like very low. She could just as easily get out. I believe that the justice was very strict, and he kind of was, um, he meant business that day. And for whatever reason, that puny little attorney of hers, he had so much to say, but yet he didn't take action. And therefore, I believe that she did end up staying because she had violated the provisions, and that's what the judge ruled, that she had she shouldn't be let out because she was a risk. But she did get bail for the other one, which was petty larceny. um so of course the victims were Donna Connolly, and today the police, I believe, identified her partner that she lived with, Malcolm Craig Brown. So today it was made official, and it was released to the public, his true identity and his name. And of course, we all know on this channel it was obviously confirmed, um, who the victim was. And that I do want to tell you guys, there are still, like, there's still an investigation going concerning that. They're still searching for body parts in the ponds, and still, like, it's still going. So I'm not sure how much of a funeral they're gonna have, also. But so yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in this case, and a lot of things unanswered. And but we're slowly getting through it. And a lot of things were confirmed that nobody really knew. Like, they didn't really know that they were actually in a relationship. Like, it was like a real relationship. Donna Connolly and Malcolm Brown, they just speculated that they were just like in a situationship. And but further um, findings, I guess, at their home, um, they decided that it wasn't just speculation, that they were kind of, you know, pretty, I think, pretty serious. That could have been a trigger for the four. You know, they're going around like, what, 90210, and then all of a sudden one of them decides, to get all serious about life and whatnot. But, so in Tennessee, there was a really sad story that kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit, and it concerned me. But I guess the news had, it didn't go the way I thought, you know. And so Riley Strain was missing for 2 weeks. After searching for him, the underwater team pulled him from the water. He was declared deceased and believed to have consumed enough alcohol to cause his drowning death. He had been walking alone in the middle of the night, hopping bars, at his first year of drinking age, a college kid gone too soon. Many theories began. He had communicated with his close circles, and even greeted a policeman along the way. He had been texting his girlfriends and his friends. His friends feared his mental status. He wanted time to himself, to unwind, to regain footing and clarity when looking at the big picture of his life. That night, he got too close to a waterway. So he was a college kid, and was going on like a frat trip, you know. So his coherent state, after all those drinks, did nothing for the situation that took his life. The river was full, it was fierce, um, and swift. Even though Nashville's river glowed that night, we all suffer a loss now and grieve. For when the broadcast networks lit up with an impromptu end of mission, it seemed all the unanswered questions were placed on pause, and tragedy took over, only to tear into our hearts as we face the realities we fear the most. Rest in peace, Riley Strain. He has the warmest family. There were no signs of foul play. He was not physically injured on the body. We all have been young before and understand hindsight after hindsight. The very danger he faced is faced every night by all adults. It's called substance abuse. So I just want to bring awareness during this situation, as we search for more clues into what happened that night and find closure, and also accept that he is now resting in peace. That we do in our community have a problem with substance abuse, and I think bringing awareness to this would only highlight the young man, as he was, as everybody knew him. He was so young. This was his, first year drinking age, and that's what took him. So it was nature that he was facing, and he's just, you can only do so much as a man. Man versus nature. It's a losing battle. So I have another update about the subway situation. If you guys remember the subway shooting that left everybody kind of in fear of going back and riding the subway, and being near the area they kind of didn't want to venture out, really. They didn't want to interact with other members of the community because of what had taken place that day in particular. There were a lot of names and biases and a lot of diversion during this altercation, and before, during, and after whatever happened. And so I have a little update. It's not really too positive. So DeJuan Robinson will be facing charges after carrying a gun and fighting on transit. He is said to be in the ICU and has allegedly several charges waiting for him in case he does survive. So, Unique, the anti-migrant instigator, is still at large. So they did name her. They haven't really identified her. There is video footage of her. There is a lot of footage online of her. There is a lot of actual proof that she was involved in that, instigated and stabbed DeJuan Robinson. She was the first person to attack violently and physically, and I would consider a pretty volatile person. And like I said, she is at large. Because of her stabbing Robinson and he brandishing his firearm, Yunus Awad shot him 4 times and stabbed him after ripping the weapon off him. Robinson suffered a gunshot. He suffered several gunshots to the chest, face, and torso. He was again stabbed twice, and a majority of us believe him to have died. At first, we all thought that he did not survive, and of course, like, we do the math in our head. Of course, we read the room and kind of read what everybody, witnesses and what everybody had to say, listen to the police statements and all those conferences, the press conferences. But, I didn't believe him to have survived. That's what was released, that he had passed on. So, a miracle, I say, that even with charges, he gets to enjoy life. Once that chapter is closed, he can move on, maybe do better things. It just so happens that a star who had taken an extra job because of pandemic loss of work was driving the very train. So there was a actual vocalist that was driving the train, and he had something to say. And he, of course, still kind of carries that with him as he goes along his day. So he had given a couple of interviews. He stated the cooperation helped in the immediate first responder response. This calmness saved Robinson's life. Doc Ice from Houdini also claims a female banged down his door after his reaction. After his reaction was to keep the cab safe, locked, and operational. My wonder is that the Shank girl, the racist, tried getting in there, getting a leg up, and or continuing degeneracy in those moments following the fired off gunshots. So I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know, according to surveillance video or body cams, or those people that were filming on live stream, or just witnesses. I don't exactly know what happened, but I know once the shots were fired, he had experienced somebody knocking on his cab, which is like off limits to passengers. It's like drivers only and staff and crew. And so he was there and he did not open the door, and which I think is like the most safest thing to kind of continue his work and continue trying to life save one of his passengers, and continue trying to communicate with the emergency service people. So I think he did what he needed to. He is hesitant to return to work, but I think that they all, like, as a whole, train, like, I think they all kind of worked together really fast and really collected. And it was a really chaotic situation. I think that maybe that woman didn't have enough time and kind of jumped the gun, so to speak. um, I really don't know what to say, but that, it could have been, she could have been trying to, um, you know, move swiftly, and cause more of a problem because she didn't want to get charged and she didn't want to be at large or have a manhunt or what have you. Um, so thank you guys for coming back and watching another episode. I really enjoy my time with you guys, and I'll see you guys again soon on my Sunday from. Bye bye.